Have you ever experienced burnout? There are very few of us who have never experienced burnout at some point. And burnout may look different for you than it does for me. Many of us are entrepreneurs who also work 9 to 5 jobs. And some of us even have several entrepreneurial endeavors going, not to mention the other hats we wear as moms, sisters, daughters, etc. So, this topic may be relevant if you are in this space. Today, we're talking about what it means to embrace burnout as a woman entrepreneur. And embracing burnout might not mean what you think it means. Stick around as we dissect this topic, and then I invite you to join in the conversation. Hello and welcome. Here at the Dr. Sev Talks Money YouTube podcast, I share simple, practical tips, realistic strategies, and workable solutions that lead to financial freedom for women and women entrepreneurs. So let's dive right into this very exciting and relevant conversations, especially for those of us who wear multiple hats as moms and 9 to 5ers and all of that. It is so very relevant. And especially now that we're staying at home and we are kind of tied to our computers, we jump from our computers for work to our computers to our personal stuff. And it's easy for us to get burned out. Okay, so I see here Melanie. Thank you for joining. Great topic. Can't wait for this. It's good to see you, Melanie. Beverly is saying hi, everyone. So thank you, ladies, for dropping by. Okay, so I want to start off by I want to really talk about two main things. And the first one is, what is burnout? And then the second thing is what it means to embrace burnout. Now, I asked at the very top of the show if any one of you have ever experienced burnout and what it feels like for you if you have. So put that in the chat if you have ever experienced burnout and what it felt like if you did. So me being a researcher, I went and I researched burnout. What does that actually mean? And I found the scientific definition of burnout and the dictionary definition of burnout. So let me share that with you. The scientific definition of burnout is that it happens when we are overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to keep up with life's incessant demands. And I think the key right there is incessant, because life comes at us fast. And especially today, where we are bombarded by all the negatives, the politics, the health issues, the world issues, the financial issues, all the things bombard as we try to live our lives. So the incessant demands of life, in whatever capacity we're living life, can contribute or lead to burnout. The dictionary definition of burnout is the reduction of a fuel or substance to nothing through use or combustion. You know how you go on the plane and they say, put your mask on and then you can help those around you? That's what this reminds me of. The reduction of fuel or substance to nothing. And I've experienced burnout. And in fact, right now, I think I am experiencing burnout. And this is a self-diagnosis. I don't recommend that you do a self-diagnosis, but I feel like I am currently experiencing burnout because of some other things that I'm going to share in a little bit. But it reduces you to nothing. It makes you feel like you have no fuel left, nothing to contribute to whatever your goals are that you're working on. So these definitions that I just shared, let's talk about how they relate to us in our everyday life, right? For me, definition relates to me being very irritable, blowing up over little things. And I have wanted to quit jobs before because I was so stressed out, so burnt out, that just one little thing, that just that tiny little thing, made me feel like this everything is the world is ending. My life is ending. All these things. So it made me feel like I wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I just wanted to bury my head in, under the covers and not show up for anything. So that's what burnout felt like for me. And it's starting to feel like for me right now. Irritability, being forgetful about little things. I know I'm getting older and it's normal to get forgetful, but this is like a different level of forgetfulness. It's simple things that I forget. And another thing that I'm dealing with right now, which is why I think I'm burned out, is issues with sleeping, feeling tired even after getting a good night's sleep. And reduced performance is what they said is one of the things is for me just doing just enough to get by. And with my personality, I tend to be a perfectionist, and for me to just doing enough to get by, that I know that's a red flag, that I need to step back from some stuff. And I see Melanie shared here. She said, I experienced burnout badly over the summer, took some time off YouTube and readjusted my schedule and content. It helps so much. Yes, I am actually planning after this Sunday. Next Sunday is I have a guest who's going to be talking about business credit. And the following Sunday, I'm taking off. The 24th, I think it is. I'm taking off from YouTube Live. I may do a pre-recorded video and put it up, but I may not. I don't know. But I do need the break. I need my creative juices to flow, and the way I'm going, it's not. Because right now I have a 9 to 5. I do YouTube content creation. I am an academic coach working with an instructor for statistics, grading papers and all of that. And I'm a mom, and then I also coach clients for in the personal finance space. So I'm doing a lot of things, and I know, and I'm studying for an exam on the 30th of October. So I'm doing a lot of things. I know eventually it's going to taper off, just like when I did my doctorate. Was doing a lot of things, but I knew the doctorate process was going to fall off my plate. And right now I know some of these things are going to fall off my plate, but I am approaching burnout, and I know I need to step back and get back my creative juices flowing. And Melanie saying here, I traveled and took a guilt-free break. It was amazing. I can imagine. I remember last year when I first started in December, I said I was going to take a break, and one of my guests that I had was berating me. She's like, no, you can't. Well, she's not really berating. She was just cautioning me against taking a break, because she's like, algorithm, and you're going to mess up the algorithm and all of that. Well, I can't be concerned about the algorithm over my health. I just cannot be. So I have to take a break. I am going to take a break in December, and I will let you guys know when I take the break. But anyway, let's continue the discussion about some of the signs of burnout. Again, irritability. If your child just puts one spoon in the sink and you are blowing up and almost ready to murder your child for putting one spoon in the sink, then you might want to evaluate. You may want to evaluate if you are approaching burnout. Now, burnout looks very close to depression. And that's why I suggest that you're not like, don't do like me and self-diagnose burnout. You want to make sure you go to a medical professional, because burnout looks very closely related to depression. The forgetfulness, the issues with sleeping, the irritability, reduced performance. But two things that may be additional to burnout, where you can see depression, is a feeling of hopelessness, low self-esteem. Those are two things that are not necessarily burnout. They're more along the lines of depression. So if you are experiencing those, like low self-esteem and hopelessness, a feeling of hopelessness, then that's more along the line of depression. You definitely don't want to diagnose that as burnout, you want to go see a doctor to make sure that you are really experiencing burnout versus depression, because depression requires a medical diagnosis and it requires maybe medication. So you don't want to confuse the signals. So what do you want to do? What should you do when you realize that your creativity is being reduced, when you realize that your performance, you really don't want to do the things that you love? And for me this morning, I thought, well, do I really want to do this live today? I'm excited about the topic. I'm excited to share with you. I'm excited to educate and inform and do all the things I'm doing. But this morning, I really wanted to just stay in the bed. And I realized that is a sign of burnout. It's not because I don't love what I do. My creativity and my productivity is being reduced because I'm burned out. Okay. So the first thing we have to do is recognize burnout, recognize that we are not operating at optimum performance, recognize that something is off with me and the things that I love, the things that I want to do, something is off. That's the first thing. There's a little thing that's going around the internet where Pooh and the little bear, no, Pooh and the little rabbit, I think, I don't remember his name. And he asked him, what is the most important thing that someone can do for themselves? And the response was, say help. And so in order to take care of burnout, recognize burnout, ask for help. And it may mean going to a medical professional. It may mean just going ahead and taking a back step. Like Melanie shared earlier, she decided to take a break. She traveled, took a guilt-free break, and it was amazing. Even though, we talk about the algorithm and all of that. Well, the algorithm over your health? No, we have to prioritize our health, because I supervised a group of ladies at my job before. And one weekend, I got an email that one of them passed away suddenly. Guess what? We replaced her. Okay. So you have to make sure you take care of yourself, because we are all replaceable. We might not want to know that. We might not want to acknowledge that. We are all replaceable. So our health comes before anything else. And whatever we need to do to take care of our health over the job, over family sometimes, because again, put on your mask first before you can help somebody else, right? So sometimes we have to realize that we are replaceable and take care of ourselves, step back as Melanie did. And she came back refreshed. She came back with new ideas. She came back energetic because she was able to step away. So if you need to do that, then do that. First, recognize that something has changed. And if you need to call it burnout or see a doctor, do that. Then take the necessary steps to refuel. As I shared before, the dictionary definition was the reduction of a fuel or substance to nothing through use or combustion. You can only use up so much of your brain power before you need to recharge. You can only use up so much of your energy before you need to recharge. So take the necessary steps to refuel. I read somewhere that Grant Cardone, who is a multi-millionaire, works 5 hours per week building his real estate business. If you are trying to do that, I wouldn't advise it. Okay. At some point, you got to step away from that, because how much do you need? And how much is that going to serve you when you are burned out? If you can read about all these famous people, all these multimillionaires, how many times they flamed out because they've gone all in. And for me, as I shared before, I'm a perfectionist. And I have to be very careful that my perfectionist tendencies don't allow me to burn out. I was giving 150% to jobs that did not appreciate me, that do not appreciate me. And the leftovers I was giving to family and to myself. And I realized that I can't do that. So now I am very sparing with what I do for the job. I do my job, make sure I give it 100%, and that's it. I do whatever I need to help other people. I'm going to do that to help them, but I have to make sure that my mask is on first before I do for other people. So understand that if you are building a business or multiple businesses, especially while working a 9 to 5, you are going to be at a greater risk for burnout. And for me, I am doing multiple businesses, working my 9 to 5, all the other stuff, and doing YouTube. And for me, I'm a greater risk for burnout. And if you have perfectionist tendencies like I do, you are even at greater risk for burnout. So you don't want to be in a constant state of working. Turn off the computer sometimes. Some weekends, some Saturdays, lay in the bed on Saturdays. Just lay in the whole bed. Get up, eat, do whatever, shower, get back in the bed, relax, read a book, watch TV, whatever you do to relax. Go ahead and do that. And if you are a creator, I'm speaking specifically to creators right now. If you are a creator, forget about the algorithm and all that stuff. Are you trying to do this to grow so fast that you end up being burnt out and you're not giving 100%? I think Melanie just shared something here about the algorithm. She said, "Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about that, the algorithm consistency. My channel grew more after my break, actually." And that is possible. We can't be so caught up in systems. And that's another thing I wanted to share is society puts barriers and limitations and expectations on us. Our families do, our jobs, whatever we're involved in, there are certain expectations. All right. And for us to understand how we can serve everyone in the best way, we have to realize that we can't give 100% to everybody. We just can't. So we have to choose who we serve at a certain time. I was in an organization where when I was doing my doctorate, I said, I need to step away. And I was berated for wanting to step away and compare to other people who are doing, this person is doing XYZ and why do you need a break? And I'm like, I don't care about what anybody else is doing. I know my capacity and I am at capacity and I need to take a break. And you're going to get that. You're going to get people who will not be happy with you because you choose you. Hey, you got to choose you if you need to, okay? There are going to be people who will not be happy with you if you choose you, when you choose you. But if you need to, in order to come back refreshed and to serve, then go ahead and do that. Hey, Judy. She's saying here, hi from North Carolina. Thank you for stopping by. And let me see. Hey, Jason, how are you? Jason's saying here, hi, Dr. Sav. I walk every day. I walk minimum 10,000 steps. I take 25 deep breaths, as deep as I can. Inhale by nose and exhale by mouth. No phone calls. This is my time to recalibrate. Whatever works for you. That sounds like an awesome strategy. We all need to take care of us. Melanie saying here, this is such great advice. And Tony, hey, Tony. Hi, how are you? Yes, I've seen you over on Judy's channel from Asian American Legal Focus channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. And, you guys can put in the chat if you've ever experienced burnout, what that felt like, and some of the things that you did, like Melanie shared what she did to help recover, and that Jason shared some of his strategies for helping him recalibrate so that he can help prevent burnout. Because we don't have to get to the stage of burnout. We can do things, put things in place so we don't get to that stage of burnout. And again, I'm keep saying I'm a perfectionist. And for me, it's so hard because I'll be sitting here and I'll say, just one more thing. Just one more thing. I mean, this may be TMI, but I'll need to go to the bathroom. And I'll say, just do one more thing. Just one more thing. And before you know it, 5 minutes pass and I don't go to the bathroom. Or I'll be sitting here doing a thumbnail for my YouTube channel. And I'm just changing one touch, one shade up, one shade down. Let me just change one shade. Let me change this letter. The perfectionist tendencies in me cause me to tend to burn out. So I have to be very, very, very careful about that. But anyway, What does it mean to embrace burnout? We talk a little bit about that, right? Because that's the main thing I wanted to talk about here is what does it mean to embrace burnout? Embracing burnout simply means acknowledging that you need to step away from the routine that you're in. The world is not going to end if you stop what you're doing and step away and take a break. It might feel like it. I was reading some stories and I saw myself in those stories. There was one guy who was in a car wreck, and his first response when he was on the way to work, and his first response when he was in the car wreck was, I'm going to miss my meeting. Not about his health, not about any of that. I'm going to miss my meeting. I mean, come on. But we're programmed that way by society, right? To consider other things outside of ourselves. My first thing my first thing probably would have been like that guy. But really, our first response should be, am I okay? Do I need to go to the hospital? Is the other person okay if it's a two-car accident? But the first thing we start thinking about is that deadline, that thing that we were going to. If it was a doctor's appointment, if we're going to work, wherever we were going, we're thinking the inconvenience of this car accident. How many times have my daughter said to me, oh, Mom, can you come pick me up because of XYZ? And I'm thinking of the inconvenience. No, I'm going to have to tell my boss that I can't, I can't attend that meeting. I got to go get my daughter, and I don't want to be dealing with that. I'm thinking this is an inconvenience. Who comes first? My job they'll fire me in a second or replace me in a second, or my daughter who only has one mom, one life. We only have one relationship. But the way we're programmed, we end up making choices or thinking that we need to make choices that doesn't serve us, but serve the other person. Because we don't want them to be mad at us. We don't want them to not make choices or say things that will put us in a bad light, right? So what is embracing burnout? It is seeing burnout as an opportunity to recharge and come back more creative than normal. When we step away, well, let me say me. When I step away, then I start seeing things differently. I start seeing opportunities in places that I would not have seen it if my brain was constantly going and if I was just constantly doing. I see opportunities in new places. I see opportunities in new situations that I'm in. So again, not everybody's going to be happy when you when you step away from the treadmill of whatever it is that you are doing. And Melanie's saying here, you say, yes, when you step away, you see things differently. You really do. Is there times when I mentioned before, when I'm just a little thing will make me want to feel like I want to quit my job. But then I go get a good night's sleep and I see things much differently. Because that little thing he really shouldn't have set me off like that. But that's because I was at the stage of burnout. Maybe was there or close to it. Oh, Melanie, thank you so much. She said, hey, everyone, don't forget to thumbs up this video. Thank you so much for the reminder. Okay, so what would happen if while you were building the multiple businesses, working that 9 to 5, doing all the things, you end up in the hospital? What's going to happen to the multiple business you're building? What's going to happen to the 9 to 5? It's going to go on. Okay. So what I want to say to you with all of this conversation that I'm sharing here about what is burnout and how to embrace burnout, the bottom line is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. If you are experiencing burnout, take care of yourself by stepping back, practicing some meditation or whatever it is that works for you, because burnout looks different for everybody. Burnout for me is going to probably look different for burnout for you. For me, burnout is I love to read. So my first line of defense when I feel burnout is grabbing a book, staying in the bed and reading. But burnout and how you handle it is going to look different for everybody. Okay. So if you're experiencing burnout, or if you're feeling a lack of enthusiasm for the things that you're doing, the things that you know you love, if you're feeling a lack of enthusiasm for that, if you're feeling forgetful, irritable over little things, and you know the little things that you could be irritable about, if you're having issues with sleeping, you reduce performance on the job, you just want to do enough just so they don't fire you. If you're experiencing any of that, then you want to step away, embrace this time of burnout, embrace the fact that your body is saying to you, you have so much to give, and I'm going to give you a sign to step away so you can recharge and give what you have in store. Okay, because there are people who are depending on us, there are people who are wanting what we have, and in order for us to give 100%, we really need to step away and recharge, refuel, so we can give 100%. I don't know about you, but I feel so much better when I can give 100%. As I said before, I'm a researcher. Okay. And whenever I have a topic that I want to talk about here, I research. I get research from all these different places. And the research requires a lot of brain power. And if I'm not at optimum performance, then I don't give the research the benefit or the effort that it requires. And when I come on here to talk, I don't just come on here and just talk. I research, I have my talking points, I have something of value. I want, if you spend your time with me, to go away with something of value. And if I'm burnt out, if I am not giving 100%, then you're going to come and you're just going to hear me ramble from stuff to stuff. And really, when you go away, you don't get the point that I was trying to make. You don't get, I ramble anyway, but but at the end of it, I want you to get the point I'm trying to make, which is take care of yourself. Embrace this time to come back refreshed, recharge, so you can be more creative. You can give 100% to your family. You can give 100% to your job. You can give 100% to your entrepreneurial endeavors. If it means maybe doing a staycation, taking a day, a weekend to go to a hotel, if it means driving to the beach and just walking on the beach, if that's what relaxes you, if it means driving to the mountains and just looking at nature, whatever it is that relaxes you, like Jason shared his strategy, whatever it is that relaxes you, do that. Okay. So here, Letitia, hey Letitia, thank you so much. I'm going to be appearing on her YouTube channel on the 22nd. It is, I think it is the 22nd, 2 Fridays from now. Whatever date, no, the 29th is when I'm going to be appearing on her channel. And let's see what Judy is saying here. Like that male flight attendant who cursed out everyone before sliding off the plane on an emergency exit. Yeah, he was probably burned out. And again, the danger right now with COVID and us being inside and just affixed to our electronics, it's easy to not spot burnout, because we're constantly on our electronics. We're constantly consuming content. We get up in the morning, we do our 9 to 5, and then we jump onto our phones, and then we jump onto our computers. We're on Zoom, we're on this stuff, and it can be fatiguing. And is that a word? Fatiguing? It can cause fatigue. So it is, sometimes we just kind of slide into burnout. It's not a big jump, it's a slide into burnout. And so we have to be very careful to look for those signs that I mentioned before. And Judy's saying here, I'll check out Letitia's channel. She is the email marketing queen, Judy. All right, let me see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Tony is saying here, for people who don't break, don't relax, don't switch it up, don't do self-care, can they end up snapping? Example, yelling at boss, coworker, in addition to burnout. Oh, yes, Tony, very much so. If you don't take a break, you know how we hear about all those people who snap? It was something that built up over time, and they did not know how to release that valve, that pressure valve. I don't know if you're familiar, we don't use pressure cookers as much these days, but when the pressure cooker, there's a valve that you use to release the pressure. And when you do that, then you can take out the nice content out of the pot. And it's the same with our lives. If we don't have a valve to relieve that pressure, we can end up snapping, because I've done that before. I snapped at a coworker because I was so stressed out. I think it was when I was doing my doctorate, doing all the things. And I was in a marriage with a partner that did not support me. So I was under a lot of pressure. Then I was in a religious organization that did not support. I did not get support from that religious organization while I was going through my doctorate and doing all the things, because the expectation was you need to do this, 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 this. And no, there was no care for how I was doing as a person. So yes, I have snapped before, and it definitely can lead to, if we don't switch it up, as you said, don't take a break, we can end up yelling at a boss, a coworker, and that's part of burnout. That's one of the signals of burnout. A lot of times, even bosses, a lot of times they're dealing with so much, and we see our bosses and we think, oh, they're so mean, they're so this, they're so that, but they could be dealing with burnout and they don't even know. So if you have a boss who may be going through some stuff and you see some signs of some of the things that I mentioned here, you might want to kind of pull their coattail if you have that kind of relationship and say, do you need to take a vacation day? Or something like that, right? So that they can recover and they can get the recharge that they need to, because you don't want to get to the point of, as Judy shared here, this flight attendant who, cursed out everyone before sliding off the plane on an emergency exit. That's not normal. That has to be that he had pressure built up and he didn't know how to release it, and he ended up doing that. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, watch for the signs of burnout. If you are at a place where you are, have a reduction in your performance, you're feeling irritable over the slightest little things, being forgetful over simple things, because we all are forgetful sometimes, but the simple things, and we're finding issues with sleeping, look at those signs. But again, if you feel hopeless and low self-esteem, that may be depression. So you might want to go to the doctor to get that done, and embrace this part of burnout. Embrace it, step away from the routine, and do what you need to do to recharge and come back so you can give us 100% of you, because we want to see all of you. We want to see the best of you. And the way to do that is recharging if you are at the stage of burnout. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. And I want to encourage you, if you are still here, if financial issues is what's causing the burnout, part of the burnout, then you may want to book an appointment with me. Go to my website on the Work Together tab, and you can book a free 15-minute appointment with me. And this free 15-minute appointment is just to see where you are and to see if I can be of help to you. Because I don't want to charge you any money until I know that I can help you, because I have a lot of resources I can send you to. So book a free 15-minute appointment with me on my website, sebtalksmoney.com. Click on that Work Together button and make an appointment for a 15-minute free evaluation session with me. So I hope financial issues are not part of the burnout that you're dealing with. But if it is, then go ahead and take advantage of that resource. All right, let me see. I think I said one more comment. And Judy's saying here, thanks for these inspirational words. And Tony is saying, thank you, Dr. Seb. All right, don't forget to come back next week, where we're going to talk about building business credit, some good ways to do that. I have a guest who will be coming on to talk about business credit, ways to build business credit, and how we can do that effectively, and the purpose of business credit, why you want business credit, and what the markers are, because they're completely different from your personal credit. So come back and join that discussion at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday, when my guest will be sharing her expertise. Thank you so much, and have a great Sunday afternoon.